A woman will rarely tell you directly that she's attracted to you. That's not how attraction usually works. Instead, she'll reveal it through behavior so subtle that most men completely miss it. And the craziest part? The signs are often happening right in front of your face while you sit there wondering if she's just being friendly. Here's something that might surprise you. Psychologists who study nonverbal communication consistently find that the majority of emotional meaning between two people is communicated without words, not through texting, not through compliments, through body language, tone, eye contact, timing, proximity, and unconscious behavior. In other words, the real conversation between you and a woman is usually happening silently. And once you understand that, female attraction starts making a lot more sense. Because women rarely announce attraction verbally in the beginning, they signal it emotionally, quietly, indirectly, sometimes without even realizing they're doing it themselves. The problem is that most men are only listening to words while completely ignoring behavior, and behavior is almost always more honest. Let me explain something important before we go deeper. Attraction changes the nervous system. When a woman becomes emotionally stimulated around a man she likes, her body starts behaving differently. Her movements shift, her energy changes, her attention sharpens. Certain unconscious behaviors start appearing automatically because attraction creates internal tension, and that tension has to go somewhere. This is why women often start touching things when they're attracted to someone. Their hair, their lips, their neck, their jewelry, their drink, their sleeves, their own hands. It's not random, it's psychological. And once you learn how to read these signals correctly, you stop feeling confused around women because suddenly their behavior becomes much easier to understand. Let's start with one of the most common signs that men constantly underestimate: hair touching. And no, I don't mean casually moving hair out of the way because it's windy. I mean repeated, intentional interaction with her hair while she's focused on you, twisting it around her finger, sliding it behind her ear slowly, pulling it over one shoulder, flipping it back while maintaining eye contact. There's a reason this happens. Attraction increases nervous energy and self-awareness. A woman suddenly becomes hyper-aware of how she looks and how she's being perceived by you. Her hair becomes both a comfort behavior and a display behavior at the same time. She's soothing nervous energy while also drawing your attention toward her femininity. And here's what most men don't realize. Women usually don't consciously plan this. It happens automatically, which is why it's often more honest than words. Another powerful sign is when she touches her neck or collarbone while talking to you. This one is incredibly revealing psychologically because the neck is one of the most vulnerable areas of the body. Exposing it or drawing attention toward it signals comfort, openness, and trust. When a woman lightly runs her fingers along her neck, rests her hand near her collarbone, or subtly exposes that area while maintaining soft eye contact with you, her body is communicating emotional openness. She feels safe enough around you for her nervous system to soften. And attraction requires softness. Women don't emotionally open up around men who make them feel tense, judged, or emotionally unsafe. That's why calm masculine energy is so attractive. It relaxes her nervous system instead of pressuring it. Now let's talk about lips because this sign is constantly misunderstood. If a woman keeps touching her lips while looking at you, lightly biting them, slowly applying lip balm, or drawing attention to her mouth during conversation, she's usually thinking far more about you than she's saying out loud. Humans are biologically wired to notice lips during attraction. Women know this instinctively even if they never consciously think about it. So when she emphasizes that area while talking to you, especially combined with eye contact and relaxed energy, it's rarely accidental. She's unconsciously guiding your attention toward intimacy. And if you combine lip touching with lingering eye contact, slower speech, and softer body language, attraction is usually already present emotionally. Here's another sign men overlook constantly: jewelry touching. If she starts playing with her necklace, spinning a ring, adjusting her earrings, or repeatedly fidgeting with accessories while talking to you, that usually means her nervous system is activated. Psychologists call this displacement behavior. The emotional energy created by attraction needs somewhere to go physically, so her hands start searching for movement. The jewelry becomes an emotional outlet. And there's another layer to this that most men miss. If her necklace rests near her chest and she repeatedly touches it while talking to you, she's subtly directing your eyes toward areas she wants you to notice. Again, usually unconsciously. Attraction is filled with these tiny invitation signals that happen beneath awareness. Now we move into something even more obvious: physical contact. If a woman touches your arm during conversation, lightly grabs your shoulder while laughing, adjusts something on your shirt, taps your hand while making a point, or finds small excuses to create physical contact, pay attention. Because breaking the touch barrier is psychologically significant. Humans are extremely selective about who they touch comfortably, especially women. So when she initiates touch repeatedly, she's usually trying to create emotional closeness and test your response. And here's where so many men completely ruin the moment. They panic, freeze, act awkward, or ignore the touch completely because they're scared of reading it wrong. But from a woman's perspective, that feels emotionally deflating. Imagine throwing someone a ball and watching them stare at it while it hits the ground. That's what ignoring her touch often feels like psychologically. The correct response isn't to suddenly become aggressive or overconfident. It's to calmly acknowledge the moment. Smile, relax, match the energy naturally, because attraction grows through emotional flow, not emotional panic. Another incredibly underrated sign is what women do with objects when they're around a man they're attracted to. Watch her hands when she's holding a drink. If she slowly traces the rim of her glass, slides her fingers along a straw, spins her cup while maintaining eye contact, or plays with objects in a slow, rhythmic way, that's often displaced sensual energy. Her body wants expression, but the social situation may not allow direct expression yet. So the energy transfers into movement. And yes, this is a real behavioral pattern. Attraction often reveals itself indirectly before it becomes verbal. Women also start adjusting their appearance more when they're emotionally engaged with someone. Straightening clothes, fixing sleeves, adjusting necklaces, checking hair repeatedly, smoothing fabric. These are called preening behaviors, and they exist throughout human psychology and even across species. Why? Because attraction increases presentation awareness. She suddenly cares more about how she appears in your eyes specifically. And context matters here. If she starts adjusting herself more after noticing you or during direct interaction with you, it's often targeted behavior. She wants to look her best in your presence. And people rarely invest that kind of subconscious effort around someone they feel emotionally neutral about. But the sign that confuses men the most is this one. When she rests her chin on her hand while listening to you, cradles her face softly, or holds eye contact while leaning into the conversation, many men assume she's bored. Usually, it's the opposite. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as facial framing. She's unconsciously drawing attention toward her expressions, her eyes, and her emotional focus on you. It's an intimate behavior because it usually appears when she feels relaxed enough to stop performing socially and start becoming emotionally present. If she's holding eye contact, smiling softly, leaning in slightly, and resting her face in her hand while listening to you speak, there's a very strong chance she's emotionally invested in the interaction. And honestly, this is where most men fail completely. Not because women aren't showing attraction, but because men are disconnected from emotional awareness. They expect attraction to be loud and obvious when in reality it's usually quiet, gradual, and behavioral. Women often communicate attraction through patterns, not declarations. Through nervous system responses, not speeches. Through energy shifts, not announcements. And once you understand this, you stop chasing certainty every second. You stop overanalyzing texts while ignoring what's happening right in front of you physically and emotionally. Now listen carefully because this part matters most. None of these signs should be viewed in isolation. One gesture alone means nothing. Context always matters. Some women touch their hair naturally. Some people are physically expressive in general. Attraction is usually revealed through clusters of behavior happening together repeatedly. Eye contact combined with touch. Softness combined with proximity. Nervous behaviors combined with emotional focus on you specifically. That's when the pattern becomes meaningful. And your job isn't to manipulate those signals or assume every woman is secretly attracted to you. Your job is simply to become aware enough to recognize emotional openness when it genuinely appears, because most women won't verbally hand you certainty. They'll hand you signals and watch whether you're emotionally intelligent enough to notice them. So the next time you're talking to a woman and she starts touching her hair repeatedly, playing with her necklace, tracing her glass, leaning toward you, touching your arm, or holding eye contact while softly framing her face with her hand, stop dismissing it as random behavior. Her body might be telling you something her words aren't ready to say yet. And if you learn how to recognize those moments calmly instead of panicking or doubting yourself, you'll realize something powerful. Women were never as confusing as you thought. You were just never taught how to read the language they speak most naturally.